Many people, if not most, feel desperation when they are in an academic research journey. And there'll be a moment where they put in a great deal of work and it feels like that work is not paying off. It's usually at about the third or fourth year of doing research, and then you realize that there is no end in sight. And you get to this moment where you feel a great deal of desperation. Everybody that I know, I think, maybe I can't generalize that broadly, but most people will come to a point where they have this sort of breaking point where they have an unbelievable amount of desperation because they can't see what's going on. They can't sort of see that their work is actually paying off. And frankly, it's probably not at that moment. Like I've told this story multiple times. So the one thing I wanted to point out is my return, my net present value calculation. I understand sort of personal finance and all that kind of stuff, taken a bunch of courses on that. So I decided to do a net present value calculation compared to my career as an engineer. And my break-even point is when I'm 55 years old. So I'm 43 today. Not today, but I'm 43 years old. I still have 12 more years by the time it actually makes financial sense of me to stay in this particular career. So it doesn't make a lot of financial sense. It's really, really poor sort of financial bet. And I did a PhD in business. Like this was me being as rational as I possibly can. I thought at the time that, hey, this would give me all sorts of career opportunities, all that kind of stuff. But, that doesn't work out. And then there was another moment it was about, I think it was my fourth year of doing a PhD. I started to apply to all these different jobs. And then I heard back from nobody, not a single person. And that was the moment that I felt desperation. I realized that there is very little career mobility in terms of, moving from place to place. There's just not a lot of positions around the world. If you start listing out, there's not a lot. And there's not a lot of opportunities, which is the reason why it's so challenging to find a job in this particular career where you actually you're a specialist and you're a very, very fine-tuned specialist. So you have to find the right person that in the right institution that matches with what you're doing. And for almost all of us, it's only maybe a handful of institutions, like literally a handful of institutions. There's just not a lot of opportunities that are available. And so you feel a great deal of desperation. At that moment, this is what happened, right? So I went through this sort of stage, right, where I was just desperate. And I kind of, I didn't know what to do. And what I learned to do is to completely disassociate. So this took a very long time, and I'm still working on it today. I disassociate as much as I possibly can from doing the work, from everything else, the whole surrounding as much as I can. And as long as you have a place, whatever that place is, it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be anything really. As long as you have a place someplace, that's all that matters, right? And you could just do your work. It is this crazy career. It is so crazy that you have to disassociate so much because the only thing that matters is to put in that work and put in that time. And the returns come so late in the game, unless you're that one really fortunate person that has everything sort of work out for them. But I've been in this game for so long. It's very difficult to identify all of that kind of stuff. It's not as easy as you think it will be. And to have all of that work out for you, right? That one person that goes through that, you're quite fortunate. But most people have this moment and they go through this sort of desperation. And so what you have to do is just completely disassociate from everything, right? Where you just block out the rest of the world and you're okay with being you as you are. And as you've seen when I'm talking and when I'm going through all of this, it's still challenging for me to do this and to go through it, because I know the sort of work that goes into it and the amount of disassociation that you have to do for such a prolonged period, where you simply have to say, hey, I'm a good person. I don't have to sort of be part of all of this kind of stuff, and I'm going to walk my walk. And that walk is going to be steady, and it's going to get me to where I need to go. And the rest of it, everything else, right? The whole game of it, you cannot keep focusing on that. And it's this crazy amount of disassociation that you have to do. I remember this. So I actually had this moment when I was going to go. I was 7 years into this thing already, right? Like after doing a master's in a I was, by all means, from external metrics, considered sort of successful, but I couldn't find a job. So what I had to do is I set in my mind that if I don't get a job by, I think it was December 2012. And if I didn't have a job, then I would just stop and go find a job. And I actually had kind of a job lined up in sort of a factory and just doing factory work, which is crazy because, like I trained, I was an engineer, turned into, doing all this business stuff. It was just kind of crazy. But that's the job market of the whole academic game. And I sort of decided that I was going to do that. And it was within 6 weeks of getting to that moment that I actually got a job in academia, and I'm at my institution, which I was really excited about. I still remember every single moment of getting that particular job, and the desperation that you feel leading up to that, it's an unbelievable feeling. And I want you to sort of know that this is part of the process of going through this. And some people are more lucky and things work out for them. But for many of us, it doesn't work out that way. And in order to deal with this, right, this high amount of stress, you simply just disassociate. You walk your walk and you do your thing. You imagine yourself as a good person and you do everything that a good person would do, whatever that looks like. And so I need to prioritize myself. I need to prioritize my health. I need to do all of those kind of things repeatedly until it actually works out. And that's why I'm building the whole reciprocity project, the reciprocity.com. It started off that way. If you look at the platform that I'm building, the writing platform, if you haven't done it, please go on, check it out. But if you actually look at it, it was me as a response to dealing with this uncertainty, because I thought, hey, if I'm not the only one that's actually dealing with this, right? And I could get some help with writing and all that kind of stuff. And if I can help the market, then I can make a big difference. And that's the challenge that we sort of face, is how do you deal with this? And frankly, it's been harder than I thought, but whatever, right? Like, this is the process, is dealing with it. And the only way that I know how to deal with this whole, building this platform, the same way that I deal with it in academic research: disassociate, know that I'm a good person, try to do the best I possibly can every day, and just keep going at it every single day, consistently, and push away all of the nonsense that I see. And the more that you do that, you just push it away, the more that you sort of get better at it. And frankly, the people that have been doing this the longest, and they're not playing the games, you'll identify those people. They're not really playing games. They're genuine, nice human beings. And you will realize that they disassociate tremendously from the actual effort of everything that's going on. All right, take care and have a wonderful day.